Hey everyone, JCS StarCraft here, bringing you the semifinals match between Morrow and Naama here on the Go4SC2 number 32 Weekly Cup action getting started here on Zelnaga Caverns. And Naama was the Go4 number 32, I'm sorry, the Go4 number 31, pretty much last Sunday's winner, and going to be coming up against the current StarCraft 2, the first StarCraft 2 champion, Morrow, who was able to win the IEM Season 5 Global Challenge against Hydra, who played incredibly well against Hydra and Dimaga to earn his spot, winning himself a cool $5,000 US, probably in his currency. And should be a pretty interesting match between these two. Naama, a very young player, a very young Warcraft 3 player who has transitioned over to StarCraft 2 at this point. Kind of had a very colorful match against Tarson in the quarterfinals, I think, leading into this one. And if I have time, I'll try to cast that one as well. But definitely looks up to these players. In the previous match, he said he was rooting for Tarson at the IEM challenge. And of course, it's pretty interesting to see, as when he was winning the last Go Cup, Morrow was winning the IEM. So while Naama on Sunday won himself, I think, 100 or 200 euro, Morrow won a good $5,000. So Naama now going to be setting up both these players, of course, very, very active in the beta as well. And Morrow just on a really, really great hot streak right now. And just kind of getting right back into the swing of things, not really taking a rest. I was reading about some of the blog posts for the IEM, and it said that Morrow, just when everyone went out to party on the day before the finals, he stayed in and he practiced and he practiced and he practiced. And it was really great to watch him play, because he, I think Dimaga and Hydra were pretty much the entire tournament against Terran, holding off against those Mass Reapers. So Morrow really kind of honed his Mass Reaper skills on Dimaga, who was Dimaga was really, really good at defending against the Mass Reapers. And I think it was when Morrow really discovered just the exact number of Reapers to gain before he pushed in, which was about 7 or 8 rather than 5 or 6, allowed him to really micro a lot better out there too. So it looks like Tech Lab going to go down for Naama, and Morrow right now just pumping out a few more Marines. Looks like he might be going for a 1-1-1. A very different play from obviously from his Zerg strategy against Terran. So it looks like saving up for that 100 gas, and there goes the factory down for him, and a Reaper coming out for Naama. Naama going to be using his reverse Morrow strategy against Morrow. Obviously, we won't be seeing Mass Reapers against another Terran player, although that would be very interesting to see if anyone can pull that off. But it looks like he will be throwing down his factory as well. And hoping not to see tank, Viking. Not my favorite Terran matchup, when both players just kind of siege down. It becomes a very defensive game and almost luck sometimes. Or, once in a while it's going to be who has more Vikings, and that person wins. Or other times it becomes who mistakenly pushed one of their tanks forward by accident, and everything just exploded on them. So now I'm going to be running in with this late Reaper to scout these Marines, more than enough to clean it up if it goes too far. And Morrow going to be building out his starport and everything pretty far away from a scan, so it's going to try to throw off his opponent, but looks like he's going to go with the 2 racks factory starport. And Naama going to be doing the same thing, except he isn't getting that second barracks right now, and will be going, looks like we might be seeing double Banshee coming in on both sides. Tech Lab going down for the factory, but we might be seeing it swapped with the starport, and yes, we will see that swap go down. So both players going to be getting Banshees. Morrow going to be slightly ahead because he has, in terms of buildings, because he has this extra racks down on the ground. Meanwhile, Naama is, I think, just waiting for his starport to finish, so a tiny bit behind. But where did that Reaper go? I guess it ran into the Marines and just kind of exploded on contact right there. So, oh no, looks like Morrow isn't going to be going for that Banshee, just going to be going with a Reaper out, and Naama going to be getting a Viking right away. So neither player going to be going for a Banshee against their opponent. And has he scouted out? Yes, he has seen all the cool tricks that Morrow had there. So I guess that Reaper was able to run in and see a few things before it died. And looks like Reactor going down for Morrow, so going to be pushing out with some Hellions now across the field. Has the Raven in the air potentially against any sort of Banshee attack. This Raven, and nope, going to be swapping it out, just using that timing to get the reactor down so that he could instantly start pumping out more Marines, and the third rack's now going down. So pretty much a very strong bio play here. Okay, I'm taking everything back. People are building things and throwing off strategies left and right. Both players kind of expecting Banshees in each other's bases. So Morrow's like, well, if you're going to expect the Banshee, then I'm just going to go ahead and build one for you. So now Raven going to be coming up for him. Units are clustered near his base. He does have a Viking in the air to help take care of that Banshee as well. Is Cloak being researched? No, it just looks like maybe a single Banshee there for strategic reasons. Going to be swapping that out right away. And a lot of interesting strategy going on here, as Morrow is going to come in with this lone Banshee to kind of do some harass and potentially push his opponent into trying to counter more Banshees on the way. But it might be a giveaway to Naama that Morrow actually doesn't have Cloak research, and Morrow just going to be using this factory to scout at this point. Banshee now kind of going to be just used to reinforce his army, as he's going to decide to push in at this point and test the grounds. Has been able to scout out his opponent with the factory a little bit, and I don't know if he knows that Naama's expanding at this point, but should be pretty interesting to see this battle engage down on both sides. Morrow sending that lone Marine ahead to kind of see what's going on. It is rallied to come back home if he can make it. This Marine knows he's running straight into MNTV territory and is going to die without even firing off a single shot. Poor sad Marine there, and it looks like Morrow was able to detect what his opponent has, throwing down the factory in the middle of the map to kind of reinforce and getting a reactor on it. So possibly going to be seeing more Hellions pumped out, but what do I know? He might be landing that command center next to the factory for show. Getting the reactor on the command center would be pretty darn cool, as it will let you pump out more SCVs. But here comes that Banshee going to be poking in at Naama's base, trying to show that, hey, I have a Banshee. And so maybe you might want to think about what you're going to do now, Naama. But Naama not really frightened by it at all. Has only a single Viking in the air, knows that there's aren't going to be a ton of Banshees coming at him, and has 3 tanks now out on the ground. So I don't know their history, whether or not they played together before. I'm pretty darn sure that Naama was watching while he wasn't playing, of course. Now going to be catching Morrow a little bit off guard there. Morrow, I think, was busy kind of scouting a few things down on the backside, and did have sight of that coming in, but his units reacted just a little bit slowly, and Morrow lost a few units for that. Both players are same in the army count. I don't know what that was here for. Is something floating out here? Or maybe that was just a mistake by Morrow, or maybe he decided to change strategies right in the middle, but really weird mid-building placement by Morrow. I think potentially before he saw the tanks, he thought maybe his opponent was going all bio as well, where this is going to be bad for both players. It looks like we're about to have a base trade go on. If Morrow doesn't pull back, he's already halfway through the map, and tanks are about to be set up on the backside of Zonaka Caverns. No, it looks like Morrow's going to be coming back in to defend it. Might have a hard time. He's going to be running around the back as well, so both players ran at each other around the back of their bases. Naama going to be able to push away this expansion, and is it going to be enough? This is the first time I've ever seen 2 players run around the backside of Zonaka Caverns, which is why this is one of my favorite maps to watch. And Naama might be stim dashing in, really wants to hope that these tanks de-siege for a moment. Naama right now, not sure where his opponent is going to be coming from, is properly sieged, and it looks like he is anticipating attack from the side. So double flanked from behind. Tanks are really confused right now. What do I fire at? And all the tanks were being thrown out. Most of the attention was thrown to the front, but while that was happening, Naama was attacked from behind. So great job by Morrow to come in there and flank him. Meanwhile, he has left a reactor out in the middle of nowhere, just for kicks, and it looks like Morrow going to be pushing forward at this point. So great job by Morrow to kind of take out that little force, running around back, chasing him down the back as well. And Naama, meanwhile, is able to keep up in this production. Was not forced to stop mining at his second base, and now has combat shield being researched. Now going tanks and Marine a very, very heavy tank Marine Army, has his sensor tower down. It's going to see those units kind of pushing in and coming in at that side, sees them at the border of a sensor tower. So a very great building that I've seen a lot of pro players use very, very effectively to kind of sense that early detection. And for some reason or the other, I don't know why Morrow knows this, but it looks like he's almost hugging that area. And we'll see this coming because of the Zanaga Watchtower. Oh, Naama unfortunately just didn't know that the side of the Zanaga Watchtower was there. That's not good for Naama. Lost all his tanks to tank fire without even being able to get off one shot. This is going to be game for Naama at this point. I just don't think he has enough to really retaliate. Oh, it is set up a siege tank in the back of, was able to reinforce slightly, but with the medevacs in the air and so many marauders on the ground, these tanks are just going to go down pretty quickly. So just slightly unfortunate move for Naama. This medevac has nothing in it, although it might be scaring. Naama not very happy with his play right there, running his siege tanks right into fire. So just a little misstep, but cost him the game. So game goes to Morrow, and I will be casting the next few games as well. This has been JCS StarCraft, and I'm signing off.